Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel if you've seen me before. Today, I want to talk to you about the use of tarot cards in coaching, but also therapy and self development. Specifically, I'm going to talk to you about the Fool card of the tarot. And something to consider when you're watching this video is what kind of fool am I? And that will be an interesting journey. As you can see, I have 50 full cards ready to that side. So, yes, I have 50 tarot decks, and I'm sure I will get some more eventually. I have even more oracle cards, by the way. And I used to think to myself, especially for tarot, if it's the same combination of 78 cards, why would you need more than one deck? Well, first of all, because they're beautiful and it's fun to have more, but you will see as I walk you through these cards or talk you through actually that each card has a different feeling to it and different associations, even though they have the same meaning. And that's what's so interesting about them, especially for the use in coaching, for example. Now, there are a lot of people who love tarot cards, like me, even therapists who love to work with tarot cards. And there are a lot of people who feel tarot is fake and that it's a scam. I am convinced tarot is wonderful. And for this reason that it gives pictures and images to the universal life journey we all experience. And in that way, it's more like a psychological tool that will help you to gain insight into certain situations. And yes, if you do a reading for someone or you do a reading for yourself, then you interpret the cards according to what you are experiencing in that moment. And that's interesting because they speak to your unconscious and you will get insights you might not have had otherwise if you just use words. Now, I can talk on and on and on, but we are going to look at 50 of these cards. So I will drop bits of information while we go along, and it will be more interesting that way. So let's just start. I have here, I should have put this one in the upper right corner to be the first card because this is closest to the original full card. But I left it here for comparison if we are looking at the other cards. So I'm going to have a slideshow for you. And it opens with the wrong one. This is the first one. So this is the puffin. And the full card is about new beginnings. And there's different ways to have a new beginning, of course. If we look at this puffin, to me, it feels so happy, a bit funny maybe, where it just waddles out of the water there because it's a water bird. It catches fish in the water, but it also nests in burrows and crevices on land. And it seems like the colors are so bright and happy, and the puffin is not expecting any danger. Maybe there isn't any, maybe there is, we don't know. But it just steps into the world. You can see below his feet, there's this beautiful geometrical pattern in the sand. And to me, that means this puffin is creating as he goes. So each step he takes, the pattern will expand, and he will change it and adapt it to what he's experiencing. In any case, he's about to have a new experience. If you compare it to the more original full card, you can see the similarities, but there's also the difference that he doesn't have the dog there to warn him or to accompany him. He doesn't have any backpack. It's just him or her. I can't tell. So it's just being completely pure and open to new possibilities. Let's look at the second card. So when we look at this fool, you immediately notice the difference. Here is the dog in the background that's barking. Is it coming along? Is it trying to stop the cat from crossing the river or the creek, the lake? And there's a crocodile. Normally, that would present some danger, but somehow doesn't seem very threatening to me. Maybe it's the subconscious of the cat, like the primitive instincts. Anyway, the cat is really focused on where it's going to go. You almost see the muscles flexing, getting ready to jump, but it's getting ready, it's not there yet. So if you use this card in coaching, you could ask the client, or you can ask yourself if you're kind of coaching yourself or trying to get some insights. What does it mean to you? Because I just offered my interpretation, but what is yours? Are you having a new start like this one? Is there any danger present that you're not aware of? Or are you connected to your primitive instincts and you know you'll be all right? What does the boat mean? What vessel are you using to cross over? Or if you haven't started the crossing over yet, but you want to make a new start, what is a vessel or tool that you could use that will make it a little bit easier on yourself? Yeah, that's some things that come to mind. There's even a little bird. So there's a lot of animals in this one. It's a cat deck. So it's all about cats. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, I love this fool. I love this deck, by the way, as well. So this new start is a completely different kind of new start. You see the mushrooms? It reminds me of magic mushrooms. They're growing from the hands and from the head. The eyes are closed, but the third eye is open. So there's a lot of intuition here. There's a lot of visions, like magic mushrooms. They give you these visions, and you see the geometrical patterns emanating from this person. And it's in the dark. And when I think of new beginnings that I have experienced, some of the most powerful ones have been where I felt completely in the dark, having no security, nothing to hold on to, just letting go, surrender to the vision you have inside of you, and completely recreate your reality from there. Yeah, this is a very mystical, transformative new beginning. It's very open and pure. Really love this one. It can be scary, by the way, if you don't surrender and you fight it. So what happens? What happens if you don't surrender? And have you experienced that before? That will be a question you could ask. What do you need to surrender to be able to surrender? Because ultimately, you need to trust in yourself to be able to trust that somehow things will work out around you, in the world, outside. Okay, let's go to the next card. By the way, you could maybe talk for 1 hour about just one card if you go deeper and deeper and ask the questions behind the answers you get. Just keep digging. And that what makes it so interesting to me. Well, let's see. This one. Yeah, when I look at this one, a memory comes to mind. I had a client for music therapy, and we were doing this exercise. We had just listened to a piece of music, and I asked her to express her emotions about that piece of music by way of naming the season, the temperature, a color, and an animal. And I remember she said green and crow, and I think it was winter. Anyway, I like crows, and I love the color green. It's one of my favorite colors. But she told me she hates green and she hates crows. So you should be careful interpreting colors and also answers you get if you're working with someone else. There are associations because someone may really love this card and think it's really joyful, and another person may feel it's scary. But it really doesn't matter what the response will be, but how you work with that response. So make sure to always ask deeper questions. So to me, this one is quite mysterious because I immediately see these figures flying, but they have no beaks. And then there's this large figure that's the fool walking with a beak, and that one has no wings, and it's tagging along this moon shape with a little pet animal, it seems. But the clothes he or she is wearing are so layered. There's so many layers to this fool. What's the purpose of that? What is this fool taking along with him? Past experiences into the new? Has a kind of richness, extravagance, and he's walking in midair, it seems, not scared at all, just stepping along, trusting that the feet will find some kind of ground. You know, sometimes you can have these dreams and you walk, and then suddenly you realize there's no ground under your feet, and the moment you realize it, you fall down. It's kind of like this fool is so focused, so determined, and so inspired to step into the new, that creates a kind of magic that maybe this fool can go where others cannot go, exactly because of this belief. And I love all the spirals and swirls. There's a lot of energy moving here around the head, but also in the staff he's carrying. Maybe it's a theme, like there have been new beginnings before. So coming back to the same but on a higher level. Could be. Or let's go to the next card. This is going to be a long video. Wait, this is a completely different kind of fool. It's also with layered clothes. You see this newspaper. Maybe this fool thought there's so much nonsense in the newspaper. I might as well use it in a completely different way and make it my fashion. This fool is already very much going. And the clock is an interesting part of this card. Is this fool maybe escaping from like a 9 to 5 job, being stuck in this gray fake world and coming out in color? There's still a kind of mask, but that's the thing with new beginnings and starts. Sometimes you're completely ready or you feel completely ready, and sometimes you don't, but you go anyway. And I feel this mask will come off. It will melt off. Rain and sunshine. It's makeup, right? It won't stick. But this fool is moving. It's moving anyway. Yeah, interesting. I'm going to go to the next card. Now, this fool does not seem to be moving, but is in the moment before taking that first step and just enjoying the moment because we see the sunshine there, mountains in the distance, and everything seems to be so flowy, balanced. I don't see any doubt, but it's not rushing in. You know, sometimes people say the fall is about being naive, being impulsive. This one isn't impulsive. This one is enjoying the moment just before transformation happens. Maybe thinking back of all that has been accomplished and all she has experienced before, and then taking that bold step with confidence. What is she leaving behind and what is she taking with her? You never know what you encounter if you take a completely new direction. And that can be so scary, but it can also be extremely scary to just always stay where you are. To me, that's very scary, not moving at all. I think it's far better to make a mistake and redirect yourself than having no experience at all and just stay stuck in the same old. Yeah, but this one, she's going to do it. Okay, next card. This is a very fresh one. Seems to be a young boy. He has quite a heavy backpack, by the way. I wonder what's in it and if he's going to use it or empty it along the way. He's he doesn't have any shoes on. He's bare feet, so he's connected. He's connected to the earth, but also to the sky. You can see these flower shapes forming in the night sky or evening sky, and just looking ahead with his inner vision, following it, unafraid. And a little doggy is just pausing more at the edge. But I feel like as soon as this boy steps over the edge, the dog will follow. That's what I feel. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next card. Now, this is quite different. How would you feel to be this full? Are you going to make a new start like this? What does it mean? There are so many people looking at him. He seems a bit sullen. Did he run away, maybe? Or does he feel some anticipation, some dread? He doesn't want to take the step, maybe, but he was asked to. Like it's your responsibility. Please help your village. Do it for us. But he's hesitating because he doesn't really want to, but he will. Or it's maybe more like he felt so stuck in the old village life and he wants to go, and they begged him not to, but he feels like it's his destiny. He can't stay there. He needs to have new experience. And he ran away to sit there and think his mind is made up. If you look at the people, some seem worried, maybe. You can even think that these people are his own thoughts, his own worries, but he will leave them behind. It's interesting how he's sitting on this beautiful green grass, but if you look down, it's all gray and barren. So maybe this new start is not going to start off easy, but it's necessary and he knows it. So then what happens if you think of the card this way and you look at your own life and you think of situations where you might have been in this kind of situation? Because this isn't the happy go lucky, innocent jump in energy. This is completely different. See, that's why I need all those card decks. Okay, I'm going to go to the next card. This is a beautiful picture, right? Oh, I'd like to stand there in that natural environment. It's so beautiful. By the way, if you do this tarot reading or full reading, there's different ways to go about it. Obviously, if you're doing it just for yourself, then you pick the card and start reflecting like I'm doing out loud now. But if you're doing it for someone, like a client, you can just pick the card for them blindly, for example. But then you can ask, what do you feel? What do you see? Have you had this kind of experience? Do you want this kind of experience? What is needed to have this kind of experience? Another question could be, what could support you in taking this new step? What people can support you? What actions you need to take before you can take this step? Looking at this card, I feel though as if This person has been traveling already for quite a while. So it's been a whole journey of transformation, and but the step he's about to take will take him to a whole new level. So the new beginning has already begun. This is kind of the point of no return. It's like standing there in amazement, like, yeah, I made the right choice. I don't know what I will find there because it's hazy, it's light, but it's kind of misty in the mountains. And this bird in the sky is like a messenger, connection to the spirit realm for me. Yeah, just step on. It's a bit like the woman we had before, where she just paused before taking the step. I feel this. It's kind of in the same way, but he has already taken a lot of steps. Okay, on to the next card. Let's see what kind of fool we have here. That's also a good way, by the way, if you want to talk about the subject of new beginnings, if that's a theme for the client or for yourself, and you have different cards, different full cards from different decks, like I have, to ask what kind of these fools you feel is the best fit for your new beginning, a new beginning you're longing for, or the new beginning you find yourself in. Which one matches the best? And let's say the client picks this one. And then, of course, the next question will be why this one? Tell me, tell me about it. What do you see? What do you feel? Maybe someone says, well, yeah, this is just taking the dog out for a walk. Not that exciting. Maybe. What would make it exciting? What is excitement to you? The dog is excited. Are you going to take the same route you do every day? Or will it be different this time? What will you encounter? What is in your hand? So, what is that in your hands and what are the tattoos about? I see flowers, connection to nature, and the feather. The birds are usually considered messengers. So, symbols, right? In the mountains, are they difficulties, obstacles, aspirations? Are you going to stay on the path? I see this cobbled road and a muddy patch and the grass. So what will it be? Will you follow the dog? Will the dog follow you? Do you have a plan? Yeah, interesting. I'm going to go to the next card because we're already many minutes in. and I don't want to take all day. This one, that looks delicious. To me, I like eating dandelions. The flowers have a sweetness and the leaves have this bitterness. And if you mash them up with potatoes, it's so delicious. Anyway, they come in massive amounts in the spring. You can find them almost all year, but especially in the spring. So it's really fitting for a new beginning. And dandelion purifies, it cleanses your immune system, your blood, the liver, all the toxins, it just flushes out. Or you can look up all the healing properties of dandelion. It seems like some cleansing needs to be done for this new beginning to be a really fresh one. Because if you don't flush the old out, it will keep weighing you down. I like how the stones are placed here. It's like an offering, setting an intention for making a new start. And there's the butterfly, that's a symbol of transformation. So it's the letting go of the old. That's already happening because the butterfly is flying away. So this is the creating of the right circumstances to make sure all will go well. I'm going to go to the next card. So what will you think of this one? There's mountain goat, but no full insight. There is a vision. Very interesting one. It's a quite normal, boring cardboard box. But what's coming out of it is quite unexpected. All those jewels, where did they come from? From the mind, from the vision, right? It's also an interesting thing. The Fool card is often considered to be naive. That's in itself a judgment and a limiting belief. I've been called naive by some people, and at the same time, there were other people that said, no, she's like a visionary genius. And then what's the difference between them? Maybe they seem similar, but they aren't. And you decide, you create what kind of new beginning you have and what the meaning of it is. And if this is your Fool, if you're this Fool, you seem to be creating something out of nothing, something other people cannot see. It's pure mind, it's pure vision. And there are many powerful possibilities. There's a lot of potential here. And a long mountain road to go. It seems, before it will really manifest. But as long as you see that box there, you know what you're after. Even if no one else does. And this determination we can see in the mountain goat, the resilience, the strength to survive in these harsh environments, and the ability they have to climb these steep mountainsides. Yeah, go for it, I would say. I'm going to the next card here. Well, how do I feel about this one? Now, with this one, it's strange, but every time I see this card, I smell the air in the picture. I don't have that with the other cards, but this one particularly speaks to my sense of smell, kind of memory, I suppose I have, of this freshness of a new day, spring or summer day, still a bit cool, with the promise of sunshine, nature awakening. And it's interesting how the balloon is let loose. Will she let go of the other ones? Or take them along for a bit and release them later? Maybe sell them is what came to my mind. It's interesting how that thought came up. Maybe they are the dreams this person has. You can always blow up more and let them fly, set them free, or sell them. This is a beautiful world to walk into. But there, here in the corner, do you see this? Are those two tiny, tiny people? I'm not sure. They seem to be. It's like the long, dark road before arriving at this brightness. Yeah, full of promise. Full of promise. Next card. This is such a beautiful card. I don't know if you can tell how shiny it is. I have it right here. Let me see if I can show you the true beauty of it. If I move it around. Yeah, the camera is, the black is, it isn't picking up the black. And at the top, you see these lines. If you look at them and you move the card, they seem to be moving, swirling. What I like about this card is the back, by the way, also very beautiful. It's a very beautiful deck. I will in the comments I will list all the decks I'm using, by the way. So if you want to buy any one of them, you can just look them up. And this card I like so much because this girl is doing this origami figures, the cranes and the airplanes, and they're actually flying. So she's creating something with her hands and her imagination, and they're coming to life. And it causes her to float up herself. It's this beautiful, happy energy and pureness. There are some raindrops or tears. Do you think she doesn't seem sad? It can be tears of release also, or happy tears. All right, on to the next. Let's say you pick this card. Oh, I love how all these cards are so different. This is not the same kind of full or the same kind of beginning, is it? It's like a puppet coming loose from the strings it was bound by. So, what was it or is it that is holding you back, but that you are breaking free from? And if you compare it to the more original fool, that is usually stepping off a cliff or a rock, now it's stepping off of a dog's snout, it seems. But also, it seems like the jumping has already happened and this dog is flying with him or her, him, I think. Doesn't really matter. Like in a never ending story, you have this dog like dragon. Kind of feels to me like that. They can fly. And what's also interesting is what's coming out of the heart area, because that seems like a wound releasing some toxic energy or pain that no longer belongs to you. I think we've all been there. And it's such a relief to finally let it go and to be able to heal. And you see the light coming from the head also. Yeah, this is a card about surrender to me. And also maybe becoming more real and in alignment with your own true purpose and not what everybody else wants you to do or be. Follow your own inner guidance. That's what eventually will make this world a much better place if we help each other do that. Okay, on to the next. Oh, this is such a cute. And it has some keywords: innocence, wonder, new beginnings. And this is very much a curious cat and white. This deck is all white. And that has the purity in each card. I love this deck. And the cute eye of the cat peeking around door, the door frame. What's out there? And it doesn't even matter what's out there, but you just can't stay inside because there is so much life to experience, so much wonder. And this one will rush in. That's another interesting theme to explore. Do you have fear to make a new start? Or are you always rushing into new things and never finishing them? Because having a new start can also be kind of running away from things and not wanting to do the more deeper work that is necessary to actually create something and to push through, to have the entire journey, but just to keep making new beginnings. And sometimes, especially with ADHD, you can have so many new ideas at the same time. You hardly know which one to follow. You try to follow them all and you get exhausted. So even though you're in front of a new beginning, maybe it is good to have that pause sometimes and to hold back a little. Yeah, to the next. Right. This is the example that I have had in screen all along. Most traditional one. You see the white rose. Well, to be honest, it looks more a bit pinkish, but it's supposed to be a white rose of purity. And the flowers on the jacket. I like all the hopes and dreams, all the potential, the energy in the sunshine in the sky. What I find interesting is in the sky are these two clouds, a male and a female, I think. And they're having a kind of discussion, but this fool person doesn't seem to notice. By the way, is he being watched? Or are the faces, the thoughts he's having? And there's this snake hidden underneath. Somehow it feels to me that if this fool hesitates, he will get bitten by the snake. So sometimes it's also, so it's the opposite of what I said with the previous card. Sometimes it's the momentum, and if you hesitate, it's gone. You can always start again, of course, but in this specific moment, it's like divine timing, and the dog is ready to jump, and it will just by seconds or by a split second escape from the snake bite. Yeah, that's how I feel with this one. It's not really a danger because he's stepping along. He'll make it. But if you would hesitate, that will be a problem. There will be a serious delay. But the world seems bright and there will be new experiences for sure. Okay, on to the next. Oh, let me adjust this one for you because it has a different shape. I will just peek over like this. I'm still there. This card is with gold foil. It's so beautiful, the gold foil. And you see, it's kind of like the traditional one, but landscape perspective. There's a dog and a rock and the clouds, a bit turbulent, and the sunshine. It's very golden, very bright. Somehow in this card, I keep thinking what are supposed to be mountains, I see skyscrapers. And that makes me feel like this fool is leaving corporate life and setting out on his own to create his own new world, his own company, maybe. But that's just my interpretation. You can have a completely different one. So, on to the next, another landscape one. Let me adjust it for you. This is another one where the actual full figure is not present in the card, and the dog is running ahead. And this one seems so, it reminds me of when I was a child and it was springtime or summertime and we would walk the dog of my grandparents. They lived like in two houses down the street, and they had a German shepherd, and we were allowed to walk that dog sometimes, and we would go to the park. And the brightness of nature there, and the crisp air, and the light and the sunshine, and it made me feel like I wanted to run into the light. Yeah, this is a very, very happy, bright card. And we have no idea where this path is going. Maybe it even stops over there. Where the dog is, there's only grass. So then maybe it's about creating your own path within limitless possibilities. Just create your own and dance with the specks of light like a butterfly, or jump around like a happy dog. And it won't stay like that forever. You might as well enjoy it while you're in it. No reason to be serious all the time. Maybe when you have a client that picks this card, you can ask about this lightness. Are you experiencing this lightness, or are you longing for this lightness? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? Right, on to the next. And this is an upright one again. Oh, look at these beautiful lights everywhere coming from the pool person, and all around the mountain. Everything's vibrating with it. The way you see, I don't know if you recognize this, but there's these bright summer days when the sky is filled with all these little silver moving dots, glitter, a glittery sky. It's all this beautiful energy and all this potential. It is interesting, though, that the fool is looking down and not the other way. Maybe he got to that point where he wanted to go, and now considering where to go next. Also enjoying the view, obviously. Then what's he's going what what is he going to do? Is he going to jump? Not right now. Okay, I'm going to go to the next card. This is an interesting perspective. We see the feet, and you see it's the moment where this person will take one more step and step into some kind of portal to who knows where, and trusting your own instincts. Those are good shoes. But will you find solid ground within that portal? But it's so beautiful. You know, maybe it's too beautiful not to take that risk, because then what are you missing if you don't take it? That can be a trap, by the way. If you're always afraid you're missing out and you keep jumping in because you don't want to miss out, but you can only have one experience at the same time. So you're always missing out on something. And the point is to choose what your experience will be, or at least a situation. So, to the next. This is also an interesting full card. I love the colors of this one. They're very energetic and balanced, and this girl is stretching out, and I feel like in stretching she will tip over the edge. She's aiming for that. Is it a butterfly or a bird that's up high? Maybe she won't fall, maybe she will float up, but at least she's reaching for something. What is also an interesting way to work with these cards if you are working with a client is to create music around it, or looking for a piece of music that the client feels matches this card. And then you can go even deeper, because images and the use of all senses deepen our experience beyond the mere words and the cognitive parts of our brains. This is far more powerful to go deep. Okay, next. Mushrooms. Yes, the chicken of the woods. You know what's funny to me, this card? The zero. I always feel in this card it's an eye. It's looking at the fox. Is he going to eat the chicken of the woods? Is it an illusion because it's not a real chicken, it's the mushroom? But it is edible and it's supposed to taste like chicken. I haven't eaten myself, so I don't know. But it isn't chicken. So is it a new beginning that isn't quite like the one you wanted, but it comes close? So you're going to settle for less somehow? Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. The fox is smart, and in the night, all the senses get a lot sharper. There's the moth, so there's transformation. Maybe the fox is going to be a vegetarian. Now he discovered this chicken of the woods, mushroom. Maybe he prefers this kind of chicken. That's a complete change of diet. Okay, I'm going to skip to the next card. The Wanderer. I love how this fool is going to walk over a rainbow to the other side of the forest. And there's this misty in between. You don't know what's there. And yet, and this fool really has to trust the rainbow that, by the way, he creates himself, I believe. So long as you have that belief there's something to walk on, just create your own magic like that. And I love the natural soft colorings in this card. Very much connected to the woods, almost a bit Peter Pan like outfit. Bare feet again. This one is very much connected. I'm very relaxed. It's not overly enthusiastic, but it's a very controlled new beginning from connection and balance. Because this fool also has to balance the narrow rainbow, almost like a chord dancer. Next. Now, this new beginning, well, this again reminds me of magic mushrooms, like the entire world is melting in front of your eyes. The entire universe is not what it used to be. This is unfamiliar grounds. This is creating something totally new. And that can be scary because you don't recognize anything around you. So you have to create a new reality from there. And new patterns will form. What you can also do with these cards is, let's say, this card comes up and you feel like, oh no, I don't want my new beginning to be like this at all. I don't feel like this. I'm not up to this. Then what would you like it to be? What would need to be different? And maybe even draw that or paint it and create your own vision of what the new beginning will look like. And doing that, adding those creative means can open up new insights that go beyond that cognitive thinking. And that will really deepen your experience. Okay, to the next. Now, this full, personally, I wouldn't really want to be this full because this seems to be naive, blindfolded. Like it just goes on drumming and rolling, and it's not on the table, but if it was, it will just like it's on the floor, right? It seems to be like it's on the floor, but it will just go on and on and on, almost without purpose, just for the sake of just rolling on. This fool doesn't give me a really happy feeling, almost sad, and a kind of stuckness in trying to make a new beginning without a purpose, without a vision, without that pure energy, without the connection, just mechanically, okay, I'll start over again, run into walls again, because you know that will happen with this one. So, how can you change this into something you more prefer? What would you need to do different to have a different result? That's what I think when I see this. But maybe you look at it and think, wow, this is the most positive I've seen so far. I can't imagine, but yeah, maybe you want to join the circus and you see this and you feel overjoyed. You never know. This fool is from a Thoth deck. And that means the interpretation is slightly different, but you can give it your own, of course, especially if you use it in this way, not for divination, because tarot evolved from being playing cards to being used for divination and used in occult practices. The way I'm using it now is more like a psychological exploration of the inner world. But these cards, the Thoth deck, is a lot more universal, not so much the physical, earthly human experience, but the universal one. You see the sun on his reproductive parts, let's say. This is about creation from connection. You see the all the lines. There's a crocodile here as well, by the way. That's interesting. Connects back to the cat one. But there are other animals. There's the I see a bird, a butterfly, a lion. Is it a lion or a tiger or a kind of wrinkly, weird dog? This fool is spread out, open. There's grapes. There's so much to see in this card. Like I said, you can talk for an hour or more, just this one card. You can also take it and meditate on it or put it on a table or an altar and just look at it every day and sit with it and see what comes up. Write a diary about it. This fool is very much connected with the universe and again creating his own reality. Next. So for this one, let's say you feel or the client feels like this would be the kind of new beginning I want for myself. Another thing you can do is by copying the posture. So really like drama therapy almost. You could, stretch out and that makes you feel different from being hunched over and miserable. It really changes the chemistry in your brain. So if you want to feel confident and free and not weighed down by anything that has ever happened to you before, just imagine standing there like this woman, carefree, but at the same time smart because she has the fox there. She's not just rushing into something. She knows what she's doing. And she has the confidence that all the unknown she will meet, she will be able to handle that. Yeah. Next. This one is so beautiful to me. It is like a holy person, deeply connected with the universe, having this robe of stars and planets is actually like becoming the universe, becoming the empty space yourself so that all the potential you carry within you can manifest around you. That's how this one feels to me. It's very strong and pure and magical. And it is creation from a place of complete peace with who you are and connection with all that is. No barriers at all, just letting it all go and letting it all flow. And you could sit with this one and meditate with it. Or for example, if you do a group coaching or a group therapy, you can talk about each of the individual's experiences. Have you ever experienced something like this? What was it like? What caused it to take place? What would you need to have this kind of experience again? Are you afraid of this kind of experience because it's almost dissolving, dissolving the old you, your identity? But it's not like being lost. So if you lose that fear, then you become way more full instead of disappearing. It's difficult to find words for this. So that's interesting to have that conversation with someone How do you explain mystical experiences? On to the next. Well, this is a change again. We see the rainbow and the light on the shoes, and it seems maybe like a cute, funny little figure, but these dwarfs or gnomes or whatever you call them, they're not cute. They're like a force to be reckoned with. If you've ever seen them for real, you'll know what I'm talking about. This one is very determined. Again, there's the mushroom, right? This one gives you visions, but also death if you're not careful. So I certainly don't recommend. Oh, by the way, what is he carrying on his head? Isn't that the, I don't know what it's called in English, but what they make the heart medicine of that can stop your heart or heal the heart if you have the right dosage. Plant medication and mushrooms. You need to really respect that. Like this little funny looking man, he demands respect as well. So if you're this fool, and maybe people laugh at you for being funny or different, but you will get there and people will change their minds. Or maybe they don't, but does it really matter because you know where you're going? Next. This one feels a bit spooky. The entire deck is like this. It's like a contradiction with the fool we had before. These seem to be some kind of monks, and like one monk is setting out into the world, leaving the monastery, and he's climbing up the stairs of this dark, serious, grim world. And the gate to the outside is this huge smiley face, very surrealistic feeling smiley face gate. And it's blocking the view entirely. So this monk has no idea what's behind it. When he's consciously taking step by step, and he's receiving bows from the other monks, because you really need to be brave to face a completely new world. You never know what you find, leaving the safety behind that you've known most of your life. Maybe his entire life. Maybe he was born there and he's adopted this seriousness, and he's going to encounter a different world out there that is oftentimes confusing, but he will grow so much spiritually, and he is aware of that. This is not an unknowing fool. He is not foolish. Next. This is one of my Spanish decks, El Loco. So I'm trying to learn Spanish because I want to move to Spain. My Spanish isn't that great yet. I understand the written language far more than I'm able to speak. But so yeah, this is the Fool. And it's standing on top of a pile of something, looking at lots of mirrors. Maybe the mirrors are reflections of himself or of the possibilities, or maybe they're gateways. Who knows? It seemed to be a vision, but also portals at the same time. Magic mirrors. Reminds me of what I've read about the history of tarot in these esoteric communities. Well, I won't tell you all the details, but I've read about magic mirrors and they had to activate them by putting their bodily fluids onto the mirrors. And well, was just it seems a bit crazy to me and not very evolved. So maybe that's just my judgment, but it seems to be quite unnecessary. There was a lot of faking going on, by the way. Sometimes, though, maybe it doesn't really matter what you use to create something new. Let's say one person lights a candle, another person says a prayer, another one makes a kind of flower mandala, another person writes it down and burns it. There's so many things you can do, and all of them are legit if they work. So it's mostly about the intention. But the mirror thing, somehow it didn't feel pure to me. No, it didn't. But I wasn't there, so who am I to judge? Next card. This is a very interesting full and deck. It's dark, but the dark makes the light stand out more. And it's an ocean or sea with this, is it a pelican bird perching on this pole? And it seems like it's just resting a bit, to be honest, before it flies off again into the night because the moon is there. And the moon is often about intuition and hidden things, illusions sometimes. It's an interesting full card. Free to fly off anytime. And this full won't fall because it has wings. But maybe it wants to find fish and going to explore different areas than usual. And maybe there will be more and better fish, and maybe there won't be. Next. So I really, really, really love this energy, the light, the golden brightness of this desert. And the desert is always changing. And if you weren't born into the desert, you won't find your way for sure, because it never looks the same. It has many dangers, but there are oases, and you see these seagulls. They come from the sea. They are not supposed to be in the desert normally. Maybe it's the sea we see over there at the horizon. So maybe this woman has walked through the desert and is about to enter a complete new land, crossing the desert to another continent, another culture. You see the red of her clothes. That's the bravery she feels at this new possibility. Yes, lovely colors, this one. Clouds are moving away. At least I see them. I see them as if they're moving out of the card instead of into the card. Next one. This girl, this girl is walking on, it's almost like ice cubes floating in midair. That's how it appears to me. And it's like maybe she can see just one cube ahead. Maybe she just trusts that whenever she puts one leg forward, that her foot will find the new cube, that it will just appear under her. This is a card that you could really fantasize about. Do you need to have an entire path? Or can you just skip ahead? What are the essentials you need to move forward? What are the stepping stones? And there's so many things we cannot control. And if you try to control, then the opportunity is just not going to be there because you'll change it and you'll actually limit yourself by doing that. It's this real balance between trust and faith on the one side, and on the other hand, not to rush in too blindly, and to always, I think that's the most important thing, aware, to be aware and present of whatever circumstances you're in, so you can always adapt. because the circumstances aren't that important. It's just important what you do with them. But that's what comes up when I look at this card. Going to skip to the next one. So this one's a really fun and bright card, and this golden line woman, she has this inflated flamingo band around her. She's going swimming, I suppose. There's no real water there. Maybe she's going to glide on the snow. What are her plans? Or maybe she is going on a trip like she always lived there and she's going to the seaside and she cannot see the water yet, but she is already living as if it's there. In my experience, that's the best way to manifest it. Whatever you're dreaming of, when I when I look at the meadows outside here, when I look at the horizon in the Netherlands, I see the mountains of Spain. They're not really there, but I see them. Things like that. And I really feel them as if they're there. And there will come a moment when I look at the horizon and they will be there for real. Like it takes time for the material world to catch up with your intention on the inside. And that can be frustrating sometimes when you start doubting if it's really going to work. But it's just a matter of going and keep stepping. Next. This is a very fairy tale like fool with three Celtic dragons. Seems like he is already having a quite new experience and almost like he's getting an invitation to follow the little dragons, and he's listening intently to what they're telling him. And he's at a crossroads, so there's many opportunities there. And which one will he choose? It's interesting. In the background, I see this in this well, I don't have a word for it. This interesting creature looking at him from behind a tree. It's in the upper corner between the two trees. And it's looking at him. And it seems to be very curious to see what he will decide to do. It seems to be almost like a kind of knight. Is he going to be a hero in his own story? Yeah, so what direction will he choose? I'm going to go on to the next one. And this fool is almost ecstatic, falling backwards, but not really falling. She's being carried by the energy in the air, in this flower of life pattern in the pool. It's just this beautiful crystal, and it's very blissful, this one. This is a beautiful new start, very open and bright. No hindrance there. Just letting go. Next one. Oh, this full. To me, it seems like this fool has been walking all night and arriving at this high point and having a completely new perspective from what he had before. And he will walk down the mountain, and in my mind, there's a village there. Interesting, right? So maybe in your mind, there's something completely different. There could be an abyss, or there could be a field of flowers, or one lonely house, or more mountains. There are always more mountains to climb. But in my mind, right, there's a village over there. He's going to walk down and meet some people. He's been alone for quite a long time, and some people may be nice, and some people will rob him, and but he has something to bring and something to learn. I'll see how my imagination just runs with it. And next time I pick the same card, it can be completely different, by the way. This. So this is a French deck, and it's about water. And this, the entire deck is about water. I mean, and he's full. He just lets go and jumps in. To me, it has always been scary to jump into water if you cannot see what's underneath, because sometimes there are rocks and you might hurt yourself, and or it's not deep at all, it's very shallow water, and then that can be very damaging. Does he know what's underneath? He just jumps in. Maybe he saw someone else do it before and considers it safe, or maybe he doesn't think about it at all. Maybe he will be lucky. Let's say you're at this point in life and you cannot see underneath, and you don't know, you have no way of knowing what's there. But the one thing you know is that you don't want to go back. And on the other side of the water is the place you want to be. Then I would jump for sure. Just some thoughts. And this one is, it seems a little less risky just to walk on the path through the fields with a dog and a little bag of things to eat and the moon on her on the chain around her waist. So intuition, and there's the sunshine, things looking bright. Yes, setting out on a new journey, and whatever you'll see will bring you something new that will help you grow. On to the next. Right. Yes, this is a very, very interesting deck. And this is one of the beautiful cards in that deck. There's a lot of buttons and threads. It's a very interesting deck. And so stultus means full in Latin. I looked it up. And what I'm curious about is what makes this man a fool. He's carrying something. He may have decided that he wants to sell what he has over there, and he will go from door to door, maybe to a new place to sell his goods, like a merchant. Maybe I'm wrong. There seem to be all these doorknobs. What is he opening? Maybe he doesn't even know, and just as long as he keeps opening doors just to see what's behind. He's not very young. That's interesting. Yes, he's he has a gray beard. So normally we would think this is an old wise man, but he's depicted as the fool. Maybe that also means it's never too late to start something. Never ever. With all the experience he has, he's ready for yet another one. That's beautiful. It says Red Riding Hood. This is a fairy tale deck. The innocent, it says. And we see how the wolf, he wants to have a bite out of her. And she has no idea. And I wonder why the tree is smiling. Maybe because it knows that Red Riding Hood will be okay no matter what. She needs to set out on her own, having new experiences, meeting wolves, dealing with wolves, nasty people who want to take advantage of you. Originally, this story was meant to be a young girl who had her menstruation for the first time. That's why she has this red red hood. And Wolf is a man who feels attracted to her. And then the eating of her obviously means that he takes advantage of her innocence. And, you know, so this is a warning for young girls to stay on the path and behave. And does that mean because there are dangers that you should always stay on the path? Or does it mean that if you're aware of all dangers, that you can definitely stray from the path and you should if you want to have a full life? Because how else are you going to learn anything new? You just stay on the same path. And she has this innocence and beauty to her. She will get help. Maybe that's why the tree is smiling. She'll be all right. This is one of my favorite decks because I love this color. And it's in all the cards, this color. It is so magical and spiritual to me. And even though there's a lot of darkness, but the light just pops out. Yes, we don't see much here, but this fool boy with this dog being small in a huge world, he will create something from there, something that is something of importance. Not because he has to, but because he feels this urge inside of him to create something. Because why else are we here in this world, right? We should use our lives well and express ourselves fully and create beauty. Next one, Silex. So this gemstone is chosen for the Fool in this gemstone deck. So this is the same as Flint. And to my understanding, Flint forms when, for example, you have little watery pools in rocks and there's a lot of silica in the water, and over time it crystallizes, but not in the way it normally does. It has these microcrystals. So it's like a silica porridge. It's a beautiful stone. It has many different kinds of colors, often also gray, little bluish, sometimes a bit ochre yellow. And this is red, so there's definitely some iron in it. So this Fool is about crystallizing, alchemizing, because everything here on Earth is made from the same materials. We are stardust and water and some other minerals, all made up of the same. We all look different, all things and animals and plants, and we're all connected, but the way the minerals are structured together changes the expression completely. So it's creating something new with what was already there. That's interesting. Transforming to the next. This was going to take a ship. He's going to enter a ship and sail to some foreign shores. And the dog is eager to go, and this may be a difficult journey or an easy journey, but it's worth it if you step onto that foreign shore and everything's different than you've ever seen before. Inspirational. It's not really completely recreating your reality, but having a new experience that will help you shape your reality from there. Make new choices based on new information. And go on to the next. So we're almost there at the end of my 50 cards. A very long video. I hope it's going to be a bit interesting to watch. Yeah, this is a very interesting deck as well. You know what? This reminds me of all the times I've seen plant spirits in visions. And they have these very deep wisdom and intelligence. And this reminds me of that connection of the natural world and how it keeps growing and evolving. It's always in motion. And as long as I stay in motion, I am part of the process and I'm evolving. And every experience is a precious one without judgment. It's just what it is. And even though some experiences may feel more difficult and some more joyful, they all add to the completeness, the beauty of who you are. Yeah, so just dive in and have those experiences, live a life instead of what we see more and more that people are watching other people live their lives on social media, a lot of fakeness in there as well, or watching other people play sports, watching other people realizing their dreams. Why don't you go live your own dream? Really dare to live a life. Next. This one kind of gives me goosebumps. Reminds me of this saying of Rumi, like you're not a drop in the ocean, but the ocean in a single drop. And that's what we are. We all are. We have this completeness, each one of us. and this unlimited potential that the Fool represents. And this drop will find its way to the ocean again. It's not about whether it will find the ocean or not, it's what will the journey be like. Because there's many ways to end up in the ocean. And we'll get there, I'm sure. So, next. This one has no animal or human in it at all. This entire deck is made of landscapes. And it's interesting that the new beginning starts in winter, it seems. Maybe it's early springtime, but there are no leaves, there's no new growth. It's still sleeping under the snow. Or maybe it's slowly stirring, but we don't see any evidence of that yet. Maybe the dream is there. Or it's that feeling whenever there is a layer of snow that's untouched, that moment where you put your foot in it. It's so beautiful when it's untouched, but somehow you see children do that a lot, right? And adults as well. And you know the feeling to put your footprint in it and make a mark. This forest will wake soon, and there will be lots of activity going on. And a lot of interaction, how all the trees are connected to each other under the ground through that network of fungus and roots, and at the same time stretching up high to the sky. That is still gray, but it will soon change. It's the possibility and the stillness of it all. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Now we're going to go on to the last one. This card also doesn't have a Fool in it, but the way the card is made, it seems like you're the one standing there. It's like drawn from your viewpoint. A few more steps and you're off the cliff. And it has many beautiful, bright colors. It seems very hopeful, even though you don't know what's there. Like, that's the theme of all these cards. You don't know, but you're going to do it anyways. So, having seen these 50 cards, I'm really wondering, what kind of Fool are you? Which one would you choose that represents your new beginning? Yeah, let me know if you feel like it in the comments. And follow me if you want to see more of this kind of content, because I'm going to do all 78 cards like this. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.